Hello and welcome to Hacking Pixels. Hacking Pixels covers some of the hottest cybersecurity news from around the internet, along with a twist of retro video game nostalgia. Hacking Pixels is brought to you by Actionable Security, securing small businesses with actionable insights. Actionable Security specializes in cybersecurity services tailored for small businesses such as risk assessments, email hardening, virtual chief information security officer advisory, and a lot more. Go to actionablesec.com for more information. Welcome to episode 12 of Hacking Pixels. I'm Frank Moreno, cybersecurity storyteller, retro gamer, and the guy who thinks protecting your business should feel as fun as leveling up in your favorite video game. In today's action packed episode, we're covering a lot of ground from podcasting basics and holiday security tips to cheap firewalls and Jaguar's costly cyber attack. We'll also dig into malware hiding in the most unexpected places, like digital photo frames, and wrap things up with our featured retro game of the month. When I launched this podcast back in February, I promised myself I'd release at least 12 episodes this year. And here we are, mission accomplished. It's a big milestone for the show, and my goal is to keep that momentum going with another 12 episodes next year. So, after 12 episodes of Hacking Pixels, I picked up a few lessons that might help anyone thinking about starting their own podcast. First, keep it simple. Honestly, all you need is a microphone and a dream. My setup isn't fancy. I use a Rode NT USB Mini and record everything in Audacity, which is totally free. Second, don't be afraid to lean on others. Fiverr has been a huge resource for me. That's where I found the talent behind the Hacking Pixel logo, the 8-bit chip tunes you hear, and even someone to edit each episode to give it that extra polish. Third, stop worrying about perfection. Just hit the record button and get your podcast out there. I mess up words, sometimes the audio isn't great, and not everything comes out the way I pictured it, but I'm having fun and that's what really matters. And finally, spread your show as far as you can. I started with Apple Podcasts, but things really took off once I added Spotify. That also unlocked the RSS feed, which now automatically pushes episodes to iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Audible, and even YouTube. Hopefully, these tips inspire someone out there to pick up a microphone and start their own podcast journey. Hacking Pixels will be back in 2026. Season 2 kicks off in late January or early February. Cybersecurity and retro gaming will still be the heart of the show, but I got a few surprises planned along the way. If you want a sneak peek, make sure you're following our Actionable Security YouTube channel. Before we start talking about the latest AI headlines, I wanted to take a moment to talk about staying secure during the holiday season. The holidays are here, and cyber criminals know it. They thrive on the chaos of shopping, travel, and donations, sending phishing emails, fake deals, and even bogus charities to catch people off guard. Here's how you could stay one step ahead. Spot the scam first. Be skeptical of unexpected emails or texts promising huge discounts, urgent delivery updates, or password resets. If it feels too good to be true, it probably is. Shop smart. Stick to secure, reputable websites. Look for HTTPS and the padlock icon in your web browser. And if you're trying a new retailer, check out reviews and make sure they have real contact information. Lock down your accounts, use strong passwords, unique passwords for every account, especially email and financial services. Add multi factor authentication wherever you can. It's one of the simplest ways to stop attackers cold. Avoid risky networks. Don't shop or bank on public Wi Fi. Save those transactions for a secure connection you trust. Keep watch afterwards. Monitor your credit card and bank statements regularly. Using credit cards instead of debit gives you extra protection if something does slip through. Stay sharp this holiday season. A little caution goes a long way. And remember that 80% off link might just be bait. Now let's talk AI. Time to keep our little experiment rolling. Notebook LM is back with a brief on the latest AI news.
This is the brief on the rapidly evolving intersection of artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. So, we're looking at three huge developments that really show how AI is a double edged sword. It's supercharging cyber threats, but it's also forcing us to build entirely new defenses. First up, AI is completely turbocharging cybercrime. It's like threat actors now have their own Fortune 500 scale marketing departments, but for stealing data. Phishing is smarter, with perfectly crafted messages. And get this, AI enables real-time deepfake voice clones of your boss. Attackers are even using LinkedIn DMs now to bypass email security. It really makes identity the new frontline. Second, the AI models themselves, they can be a huge security risk. Sure, you've got amazing models like Anthropic's new Claude that can solve tough problems. But then, researchers found a Chinese AI that generated code with up to 50% more severe vulnerabilities, just when the prompts included politically sensitive terms. It shows these AI code builders can be insecure by default, which really undermines trust. And finally, how are we fighting back? Well, big tech is building new foundations. Google launched private AI compute, which is basically a fortified cloud space so secure even Google can't see the user data inside. For organizations, it means we have to adopt phishing-resistant authentication, think biometrics, and shift to a zero-trust mindset, where you never trust and always verify. As AI blurs the line between what's real and what's malicious, modernizing our defenses is the only way to stay ahead of these incredibly sophisticated threats.
Pretty good. Who knows? Maybe someday we'll hand the mic over and let AI host the entire episode. There's always something happening in the world of AI. Claude 4.5 just dropped, DeepSeek is pulling shady moves, and Google is rolling out private AI compute, which is pretty exciting. But today, I want to zero in on something more urgent: how AI is supercharging phishing. Phishing used to be easy to spot. Bad grammar, clunky emails, generic messages. Those days are gone. Attackers now use AI to craft polished, personalized campaigns that scale across email, social media, messaging apps, and even voice and video calls. It's convincing, it's fast, and it's harder than ever to detect. So, how do we fight back? Here are some practical defenses. Start with stronger authentication. Move beyond passwords and SMS codes, which are easily phished. Use biometrics, hardware tokens, and other phishing resistant technologies. Look deeper with identity threat detection. Don't just scan for suspicious emails, monitor for anomalies in login behavior, privilege escalations, or synthetic identities slipping into your systems. Adopt zero trust, limit access to only what's necessary, and design with the assumption that compromise is possible. That way, even if someone gets in, the damage is contained. Train continuously. Run simulations of AI driven phishing attacks and teach employees to verify requests through secondary channels, like calling back an executive directly instead of trusting an email. Expand your monitoring. Phishing isn't just an email anymore. Keep visibility across LinkedIn, Slack, Teams, SMS, and wherever your people communicate. AI may be raising the stakes, but with the right mix of technology, training, and vigilance, we could stay ahead of these attacks. Now let's talk tech. This tech brief is brought to you by Actionable Security, making enterprise grade protection accessible, practical, and effective. So let's talk about what's new in tech. Steam has some fresh hardware coming next year, a new controller, a Meta Quest competitor, and yes, a Steam machine. I'm especially excited about that last one. I owned the Alienware version about a decade ago, but back then Steam OS was brand new and not compatible with most games, so it flopped. Fast forward to today, and Steam OS has matured thanks to Steam Deck. Compatibility isn't an issue anymore. Success this time will probably come down to the price point. Next up, Apple socks are back. I actually owned a pair back in the day when they were $30 and held your iPod. Now they're $150, designed to hold your iPhone and already sold out. A fun fact, they were designed by the same person behind Steve Jobs' iconic black turtleneck. Strange times we live in. And finally, after more than a year of waiting, my analog 3D has finally shipped. This is a FPGA powered Nintendo 64 system that'll let me play my old Super Mario 64 and Wave Race 64 cartridges on a modern TV in all their glorious 64-bit detail. That's your tech brief, a mix of nostalgia, innovation, and a few surprises along the way. Before we dive back into cybersecurity, I thought it would be fun to share a holiday tech gift guide. I've got 6 stocking stuffer ideas, and I'll drop links to each one in the show notes. For the record, I either own these or have an older version of these, so they're all tried and true favorites. First up is the Mod Retro Chromatic. This is one of my absolute favorites. It plays pixel perfect original Game Boy games and instantly takes me back to the 80s. Even cooler, Mod Retro is releasing brand new Game Boy titles that work on this device and the original Game Boy. Next, the AirPods Pro 3. I still use their originals and love them for their ease of use, but the new model supposedly takes noise canceling to a whole new level. Definitely a solid gift. Third, the iPhone 17. Sorry, Android fans, I'm an Apple guy. If you're in the market for a new iPhone, this one's the sweet spot. Pro level features at a more reasonable price. Fourth, the Logitech MX Master 4. I've had the MX Master 3 for years and it's been perfect. The new version adds some bells and whistles, but if you want to save a few bucks, keep an eye out for sales on the older model. Fifth, the Stream Deck Neo. This is the gift I didn't know I needed. I've got the older 6 button version, the new one has 8. It lets me control lights, fans, and all kinds of other stuff with a single tap. It's super handy. And finally, the Anker MagGo wireless charging station. This one's awesome for travel. It charges your iPhone, Apple Watch, and AirPods and folds up into a little compact pod for easy storage. So, there you go. 6 tech gifts that make fantastic stocking stuffers. Check out the show notes for links and maybe treat yourself while you're at it. Now, let's get to our first story. We're kicking things off with a story that probably won't surprise anyone. Sonic Wall's latest SSL VPN flaw is raising big questions about the reliability of cheap firewalls. This vulnerability can crash firewalls instantly, and it's just the latest in a string of issues from SonicWall. For small businesses, that means more interruptions, more risk, and more time spent firefighting instead of focusing on growth. Sure, low cost firewalls look appealing, but they often come with hidden trade offs, weaker code quality, slower patch cycles, and greater exposure to 0-day attacks. And here's the real danger, it's not just the exploit itself, it's the erosion of trust. Clients don't care if your firewall was budget friendly, they care if their data is safe. A breach tied to a known flaw can damage credibility far more than the cost of a premium solution. Security isn't about sticker price, it's about resilience. Saving a few $1,000s today might cost you contracts, reputations, or even compliance tomorrow. If your firewall vendor keeps showing up in the headlines for vulnerabilities, that's not bad luck. It's a pattern, and in security, patterns are red flags. This latest flaw is a reminder small businesses need to weigh reliability and vendor trust as heavily as cost. Because when a firewall fails, it's not just the network at risk, it's the business itself. Next up, let's talk about Jaguar Land Rover's $220 million cyber attack and why it proves that proactive security is always the smarter investment. If you missed the story, Jaguar Land Rover was hit with a breach that racked up a eye-watering $220 million in damages. And that number isn't just IT cost, it includes lost production, reputational fallout, and long term trust erosion. This is a clear reminder that reactive security is far more expensive than proactive measures. Spending upfront on strong defenses, monitoring, and patching might feel costly, but it's nothing compared to the financial and reputational wreckage of a breach. For small businesses, the lesson's simple. You may not face a $220 million hit, but even a modest breach can cripple operations, scare off clients, and trigger compliance penalties. The scale is different, but the principle is the same. Regret costs more than readiness. Cybersecurity isn't just a technical expense, it's a business safeguard. It's insurance against risk. Every breach story, whether it's a global automaker or a local shop, reinforces the same point. Resilience comes from preparation, not reaction. Jaguar Land Rover's $220 million cyber attack is a headline sized reminder that the real cost of security isn't in prevention, it's neglect. And at Actionable Security, that's exactly what we help small businesses avoid. We identify problems, build an actionable plan, and work with you to implement it so you don't end up in the headlines like Jaguar Land Rover. Finally, let's talk about malware showing up in the most unexpected places, like your digital photo frame joining a botnet. What looks like a harmless gadget for displaying family pictures was actually helping cyber criminals launch attacks. And that's the point. Any device that connects to the internet, no matter how trivial, can be weaponized. Small businesses often overlook non traditional tech like smart TVs, printers, or photo frames, but attackers see them as easy entry points. These devices usually run outdated firmware, lack patching mechanisms, and are rarely monitored, making them perfect recruits for botnets. They could spread malware, participate in denial of service attacks, or even give attackers a foothold into your network without you even noticing. If that happens, it's not just the gadget at risk, it's your reputation, your compliance standing, and ultimately your business. Security isn't just about servers and laptops anymore. It's about everything with a chip and a Wi Fi connection. In our last episode, we talked about how even your car could be a security risk. This is the same idea. Businesses need to expand their threat model to include IoT devices, no matter how innocent they seem. This digital photo frame story is a reminder that in cybersecurity, the unexpected is often the most dangerous. If it plugs in, powers on, and connects online, it deserves a place in your security plan. And maybe think twice before gifting one of those cheap digital photo frames this holiday season. Let's take a break from the serious stuff and talk about something a little bit more nostalgic. Our featured retro game this month is one of my all time favorites, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time for the Nintendo 64. For anyone who doesn't know, Ocarina of Time was released in 1998 and marked the series' leap into 3D. You play as Link in the land of Hyrule on a quest to stop the evil King Ganondorf. The game was universally praised for its visuals, music, gameplay, and story, and it's often ranked as one of the greatest video games ever made. And honestly, I couldn't agree more. I've mentioned before how the Nintendo 64 and Super Mario 64 pulled me back into gaming, but Ocarina of Time is the one that really cemented my love for it. I was already a Zelda fan from the NES days, so I was counting down to its release, and it didn't disappoint. I even picked up the special gold cartridge. The transition into 3D felt seamless, maybe even smoother than Mario's. It was like the developers had finally realized the vision that they had back in the NES era, now with the technology to bring it to life. The game introduced mechanics and ideas that still shape Zelda titles today, from Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom. I remember being blown away by the graphics, music, and sense of exploration. One of the most unforgettable moments was Link getting the Master Sword and watching him grow from kid into an adult, with the entire world of Hyrule transformed after 7 years. At the time, it was groundbreaking. I played a lot of games over the years, but Ocarina of Time isn't just my favorite Zelda, it's easily one of my top 5 favorite video games of all time. It's had plenty of re-releases too on GameCube, Wii, Wii U, and there was a 3DS remake, and it's also now on the Nintendo Switch Online. It even spawned a direct sequel, Majora's Mask. Funny enough, I never played it when it came out. I was too focused on the Dreamcast and the PlayStation 2, but I'd love to revisit it, maybe on my analog 3D. And of course, there's always rumors swirling about a modern remake for the Switch 2. With the 40th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda coming up in February, maybe, just maybe, those rumors will finally come true. That would be a dream come true for me. Thanks so much to everyone listening. Your support keeps Hacking Pixels and Actionable Security moving forward every day. We'll be back next year with episode 13 and maybe a few surprises along the way. Happy holidays and see you in the new year. And remember, this episode of Hacking Pixels is brought to you by Actionable Security, your trusted partner in safeguarding small businesses. With decades of experience, Actionable Security offers tailored cybersecurity services such as risk assessments, email hardening, and virtual chief information security officer advisory. For more details on how we can help protect your business, visit actionablesec.com today.